How's it going?
It's nice to be back, right?
How are things?
Good. Busy, good. You know, YC is going to be huge next batch.
Yeah.
Interviewed like more than 1,000 companies.
It's insane.
This is MongolianMindset, and today we're going to be typing the CEO of OpenAI. Okay, we'll be using Linda Barrens Interaction styles and temperament combined with cognitive functions. We do have, I think, the best breakdown on the internet when it comes to the interaction styles and the cognitive functions. Just go to the playlist, how to find anyone's personality type. I will be dropping a link to that. As usual, let's go check and see what personality dummy base has Sam Altman as. They have Sam Altman as an INTJ with 230 volts. Okay. So let's go look at the chart here. So INTJs are direct, they're responding, they're progression based, they're systematic, they're pragmatic, responding, abstract, TEFI and SENI. If he meets those metrics, we'll call him an INTJ. If he don't, we'll find his actual personality type. And guys, this week we are doing something we've never done before. We are hosting the Jackbox game this weekend. Come out and join. If you want to be a part of that, you got to join our Discord before Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern. It'll be Team Mercer versus Team Gloria. As the more people that show up, the more people that will get to play, and we'll be subbing people out and making sure everybody gets a turn. And we'll be deciding which team you're on. So show up for Team Mercer, right? We're gonna kick their fucking ass. We're definitely kicking their ass, okay? Gloria and Nymeria are getting their ass kicked, okay? So come on and join me, help kick Nymeria's ass. I think we're gonna name ourselves Team Papa Joe. I like Team Papa Joe. All right, so we'll be doing that. We have the biggest bundle for the Jackbox game, so over 50 games. So come out and support. To do that, like we said, just go ahead and join our Discord. I know the other links are not working because now we have discord.gg/Mongolian-mindset. Just go to the bio on this video or go to the description of the main and you can click on it to join our Discord. We have some of the best moderators and great things are going over there. You want to get into that now, okay? Highly recommend you get into that. And guys, we'll be keeping our tally system over here for what we get with him. As always, we do red. So when we get enough, we'll go ahead and knock it off. And guys, we're still doing the typing sessions by us. To be a part of what I think is the best typings online, I don't give a fuck what anyone says. You have to subscribe to the channel and join our Discord and go into the request typing. As of right now, guys, we're only doing, you have to be on video, okay? Unless you want to come to the server and be a booster. Then you can do offline typing session where nothing's recorded. But if you want to be typed, you have to be recorded. Like that is a must. Unless you're gonna boost the server, then we can do offline typing. But like we're doing that absolutely free. The value on that's insane. You're able to ask me any questions regardless. Ask me how I came to my analysis. What's the best thing for you going forward? Any of that. And yeah, it's a wonderful time, man. And we're doing that absolutely free. People charge hundreds, 200, 300 bucks. We're doing it for free, man. So
OpenAI is going really well. Excited about that.
So
yeah, I'm ready for this year to be winding down, but it's been a good one.
Excellent. So I want to do something a little bit different for this episode and just break apart a lot of your essays. So I went back in time.
Fun.
We'll see.
All right.
I have a rough outline with a few general topics that you seem to have written about a few times, and I figure we can kind of just go into each one. So it seems like there are several categories, from observing your thoughts and then choosing what to work on and then creating actual value once you've chosen a thing, and then past that, kind of purpose in general, like purpose in your work. The first quote that I liked was from your essay, The Days Are Long, but the Decades Are Short. And that quote was, minimize your cognitive load from distracting things that don't really matter. It's hard to overstate how important this is and how bad most people are at it.
Yeah. I think it's very easy to spend a decade being incredibly busy and incredibly stressed every day and feeling like you're working incredibly hard and creating a ton of movement, but not moving forward. And I think this is like a big trap, and it's so easy to get caught up in things that are urgent but unimportant. Or it is so easy to get caught up in like the trifles of office politics and playing status and power games that don't matter, but feel so fun and so important, or just like random other like bullshit that piles up in life. And I've at least found for myself, I have like a like fixed budget of cognitive output per day, and I can spend that on whatever.
Fixed budget. He's coming off systematic here, okay? He's coming off systematic. Most likely this guy's NT.
But if I let it go on unimportant stuff, then I never have time to get to the really important stuff. And it's so easy to get heads down and focused, and sort of miss like, what am I actually accomplishing?
Yeah.
The number of people who have said to me like, man, I thought for 10 years I was doing incredible work because I felt like I was creating a huge amount of output, but in retrospect, it was in the wrong direction.
That's very important for the people that are progression focused, like doing a lot of moving, but not actually moving forward. Okay, you want to make sure you're actually moving forward, not just fucking moving in place. That's very important. If you're a progression type, like really, like we say on this channel, it's about self-improvement. Okay, taking a little bit of both here. Not just fucking doubling down on stupid shit, okay? If it's not, you need to be moving forward, okay? Just careless movement does not mean anything.
Is always depressing. You do need to focus and do stuff, but you know, I think it's like really good to like focus for some period of time and then step back and think like, am I doing the right thing? You also don't want to make the mistake that sort of like the
stereotype. So this guy's interrupting himself while he's in mid-sentence talking, right? So I already know where this is going. Okay, I already know this guy is coming off like he's interrupting himself mid-sentence. Like, it's fucking crazy. Formative initiating.
You do need to focus and do stuff, but you know, I think it's like really good to like focus for some period of time and then step back and think like, am I doing the right thing? You also don't want to make the mistake that sort of like the stereotypical Silicon Valley 22-year-old or 21-year-old college dropout says of, you know, I'm going to solve all the world's problems in 3 months. And if I haven't done it in 3 months, I failed. So I'm going to give up and do the next thing.
Yes.
And then they like jump onto some other project. That's bad too. So balancing this is hard. But I think like checking in to make sure you're working on things that matter and working on an appropriate time scale, time horizon is really important.
Yeah, because I kind of wanted to address broadly, how do you even frame that? You have a certain amount of like detachment that you need.
Yeah.
And so how do you step back?
This guy's ENTP.
When you need to.
How do I do that? I am pretty good about like in my downtime. I naturally just think about like, do I feel like I am being maximally useful and working on the right things, or are there
maximum useful, systematic?
Or like you know, should YC be doing something totally different than we are today?
Yeah.
Like, should we be willing to throw everything out and rethink about it, or is it going well? Do we need to scale? But I think people find different ways to do that. Like one specific thing I do, which has sort of become this
Buddy is stopping yourself mid-sentence.
Annual ritual I really like, is December 31st every year. I take a break from vacation and I like sit and I write down what went well the last year, what didn't. I look at like how I did on my to-do list for the year, and I write them out for the next year. And because I know I'm going to
systematic
do that every year, I stress about it less the other 364 days. But I think like the fundamental pattern that has always worked for me is
fundamental pattern. So we got some abstraction here, or you want to say any? I'll just go abstract.
Take time, explore a lot of things, try a lot of things.
Explore a lot of things. Come on, any SI. Explore a lot of things.
try to have like a beginner's mind about what will work and what won't work. But trust your intuitions, pursue a lot of things as cheaply.
See what will work and what won't work. That's more of a progression, trial and error type mindset there. Yeah.
Quickly as possible, and then be very honest with yourself about what's working well and what's not.
Yeah.
And then the hard part is cut all the stuff that's not working and focus down and down until you're eventually focused on the one thing that's really working, or the two things that are really working.
And in terms of choosing, I mean, this sort of transitions into
That was pretty good.
choosing what to work on and how to create value. But in terms of establishing those metrics,
Explore a lot of options and then slowly focus down as you go. Okay. Explore a lot of options. Open it up for any.
for, you know, so say you have like, you know, YC,
Yeah.
OpenAI, and then the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Do you create similar metrics for each one, or does each one have its own?
Definitely not. It's like I am skeptical of these like systems where you try to have like everything on the same rubric.
Yeah.
I mean, the best thing I can say is I follow my interests. I try to pursue a lot of projects that seem interesting. I realize that most of
pursue a lot of them. Come on, he's got to pursue a lot of them. Any
them will fail, and I don't care. And then
they will fail, and I don't care. Progression, journey, mindset. I don't care about the outcome. I don't fucking care.
I mean, the best thing I can say is I follow my interests. I try to pursue a lot of projects that seem interesting. I realize that most of them will fail, and I don't care. And then as long as the ones that work really work.
Yeah.
So like OpenAI really works. YC really works. I've done plenty of other things in the last 5 years that have not worked at all.
We should explore that, because I think it's something that's not talked about, and it's to the detriment of everyone. So for example, like last year, year before, you were doing a lot of political stuff.
Yeah, I still think that is going to work. Okay. Let me try to frame it in like an area where a lot of things went wrong at once, but in a way that was really good.
Okay.
So I sold my startup when I was like 26, something like that. And I worked at the acquiring company for a little while, maybe 25. I don't remember. And then I took a year off. And in that year, which is hard to do, it's really hard to do in Silicon Valley, because like in a place where
so he just gave us something and then initiated onto another topic.
26, something like that. And I worked at the acquiring company for a little while, maybe 25.
Look at the journey.
I don't remember. And then I took a year off. And in that year, which is hard to do, it's really hard to do in Silicon Valley.
Just initiated that.
Valley, because like in a place where social status is determined by your job and what you're working on, like when you show up at a party and someone says, "Oh, what are you working on?" and you're like, "I'm kind of just taking the year off." Like you can sort of see in real time their eyes like look for someone else in the room to talk to. It doesn't feel that good. But it's an incredibly privileged thing to be able to do this. But if you are in the position between jobs where you could take a year off, I highly recommend it. I think it was like one of the 2 or 3 best career things that I ever did. In that year, I read like many dozens of textbooks. I learned about fields that I had been interested in. I didn't have any idea that they were all going to come together in the way they did, but like I learned a lot about it.
No idea that they would come together the way they did. So I'm just trying shit and hoping it comes together because I'm on a journey here. Go back.
I read like many dozens of textbooks. I learned about fields that I had been interested in. I didn't have any idea that they were all going to come together.
I didn't have any idea.
But like I learned a lot about nuclear engineering. AI was starting to work, so I learned a lot about AI. I learned about synthetic biology. I learned about investing. That was the year that I started being like, well, I had made like maybe 4 angel investments before this, but I was like, all right, I'm going to get serious about this and try it and see if I like it. I traveled around a lot. I kind of like really got much more of a feel for like what the rest of the world is like. I met people that were working on all sorts of different things who were nice.
SI experience here. Okay.
To talk to me. I got badly needed time to reconnect with my friends and family. I just got caught up on life. And I just sort of like helped people that seemed, I had unlimited time, right?
Yeah.
So if I met someone interesting and that seemed good and needed help, I would just help them. And
I would just help them. Okay, we got some FE there. So TIFE.
They would teach me stuff, or they would like offer me the chance to invest in their startup later. And I left myself unscheduled. So at like the drop of a hat, I could like fly to another country for a conference.
Yeah.
And I started doing all this random stuff. And
doing all this random stuff, entertaining possibilities. You see how much focus there is behind his hero function here. So a lot of times people won't hide or disguise their hero. You just got to find it, okay? You see this randomness, possibilities, just doing stuff, trying shit, just all over the goddamn place. But he's doing it in a good way because he's normalizing. If you're an ENTP, you want to be normalizing or dominant. You don't want to double down on creative.
Out of all of it, almost all of it didn't work out.
Almost all of it didn't work out. I'm just trying shit. Progression out here.
But the seeds were planted for things that worked in deep ways later. So,
but you
sometimes I would say that's journey focused cope, but whatever, it worked for him.
Okay, so you both sound like it was positive and it was great and you had a great time.
Yeah.
But when you say it didn't work out, how does that...
I mean like the individual projects. Like I invested in a bunch of companies that failed.
Okay.
I got really excited about a few companies I wanted to start that turned out to be bad ideas for different reasons.
Yeah.
But that's like fine because that's the thing. When you're in explore mode, you try a lot of projects.
You're in explore mode. You're in explore mode, motherfucker. You're always in explore mode. Oh, Lord. All right, let's go ahead and start knocking these off, okay? This guy is NEAF, okay? NEAF. Okay, everything is NE with this guy. Obviously, this guy's progression. We've seen that. This journey. We're going with journey because that sounds a lot better and it's easier to connect with, okay? He's journey focused here. He's just trying shit randomly. It works out. It don't work out. But all I would say to people who are progression or journey focused is to make sure that you are moving forward. Don't just do dumb shit, okay, or waste time, whatever. You want to make sure you're moving forward because anybody can. A lot of people out here moving, but not many people are actually moving fucking forward. Okay, so we got journey and we got systematic. Okay, so with that, you got SINE, so that's kill everybody who's SE. Then you got journey, right? So at that point, you only got ESFJ, ISTJ, ENTP, and ENFP, and then you got systematic here. So you only got ESFJ and ISTJ and ENTP left, okay? Okay, and once he goes abstract, boom, we got an ENTP, but we know that. Poof, he's abstract.
And you accept that most won't work.
You accept that most won't work. That's some cope from you fucking journey focused motherfuckers.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I know a few people that have gone through this, and it seems like they don't always. So maybe they say, "All right, I'm going to go on vacation," and that lasts a couple months.
Yeah.
And then they like come back and start meeting with people. Or maybe they just immediately jump into something, start researching whatever's trendy, which I think is like a separate problem where you're just following everyone else.
That's a mistake. Usually.
Appreciate it.
That's it. Work on AI.
The crowd is right sometimes.
And okay, fine. But then, how do you become decisive? Because you say a year.
Yeah. So this is the trick.
Relatively short period.
The trick is
Initiate it again.
How do you figure out what to commit to and when?
Yeah.
And this is where I think it takes brutal honesty with yourself about which projects are actually working and which you would like to convince yourself are working. And I've been guilty of this mistake many times, and I will be many times in the future.
So now he's talking about NI nemesis is coming in, right? So as ENTPs age, they should get better at picking the possibilities that actually fucking work, okay? When they're young, NI nemesis isn't that fucking great, okay? But as their age, they should get better at picking the possibilities that actually lead to a fruit.
This is a very hard thing to train yourself to do, to really step back and dispassionately look and say, like, am I desperately trying to convince myself this is working, or is this actually working? But I think it is a muscle that is buildable. Like, clearly people get good at that. It's just hard because it means admitting failure in something. Like, every time I make a major investment in a company, I am convinced it's going to work. You don't go in expecting to lose your money, or at least, like, I am prepared to pay for the expected value that I think it's going to work.
And this is why it's so important for us to see you on video, because look at this guy's mannerisms. He's this over here, this over here, that E fucking, oh Lord.
And once you've anchored that, it's like hard to go back and be like, man, I was so wrong, which obviously happens all the time. The best thing about investing in a lot of companies is you learn to be, it's very humbling. You learn to be majorly wrong very frequently. And you learn that that's okay, as long as the magnitude of the successes pays for all of the failures.
I haven't thought about this before, but say you sold your company and had some money and weren't thinking about being an angel investor. Do you think it's actually a good idea to angel invest a little bit before you start something else, even if you're not pulled in that direction?
The things that I think have taught me a lot about like business are poker and angel investing. So I recommend both of those.
Fair enough.
By the way, as a quick plug for
Initiated again.
Poker. So I played a lot in college, like fairly seriously. And it's not for everybody, but I strongly recommend it as just a way to kind of like learn about the world and business and psychology and risk and everything else.
Did you play like competitively?
Bay 101. I went to school on the peninsula, and so I would go down there a lot. Yeah.
That's great. Did that fund your startup?
It did not fund my startup, but it funded my like living expenses as a college student.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm always surprised by the I mean, there aren't infinite people who can do this, but there are enough people that actually make solid money.
I would have done it for free. Like, I just loved it so much.
Yeah. Okay. Did you ever get into the online stuff, like 10 hands at once?
I did. That was not as fun, and then it kind of stopped.
Okay. All right, cool. So you wrote the productivity post fairly recently. I thought that was really fun.
Thank you.
Your 3 main tips were sleep, exercise, and nutrition.
For like physical productivity. I think that's like a small fraction of the whole thing. But yes, I believe
think
that
that's
stuff
core,
is important.
right? Because if you don't have a foundation, you're off.
Look, it is possible that I am incredibly genetically unlucky, and I just like these people who claim they only need to sleep 4 hours a night. It's true. I suspect it's not. But I try to sleep 8 hours or close to it as much as I can, and I get it most nights. And
gotta get that SI.
And if you're trying to like win on really big creative ideas, much better off like cut something, have less of them, whatever. But like for me, skimping on sleep, which I have tried at other points in my life, is a terrible trade.
Yeah. I've tried to optimize what I kind of think of as like my best time. You know, like
this guy's systematic as well. He seems direct. He's most likely an INTJ, but whatever. Fuck, it doesn't even fucking matter.
I try not to sell my best time for anything other than the projects I want to work on.
Totally. I think it takes people a while, but everyone figures out what that is.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's early mornings, or like the first 3 hours after I wake up, and like, man, do I put a huge premium on anything getting in the way of that.
Right. How many hours do you think you have good hours every day? It's always in flux, but...
I mean, like if you take a armodafinil or something, you get 20.
Yeah, but I don't know if that's necessarily the best version of Sam Altman.
I would say... I mean, I can definitely like sit down and be like super productive for 8 hours in a row.
No break. I mean, go to the bathroom, whatever, but no break.
Yeah. Which I think is more than most people can do. But
it's more than me. I mean, I think I can get 4 before I need to go work out or something.
But it's definitely not like 16. And I think like the people who say 16, I feel like I get much more done than they do. So I just don't believe it.
Maybe. Yeah. Until we evolve and someone can get 16 done. So in your broad writing on choosing what to work on, I love the Hamming lecture. I watched it a long time ago. And he's so much more prescriptive than most people are today, which I really enjoy the tone of. Do you remember that story of the lunchroom?
I do. Yeah. You're right. People don't talk like that anymore.
Not everyone. Not many.
Or not many. It's been very interesting trying to sort of help create a research institution here.
Yeah.
And I do think we've done one of the more interesting research labs of the last couple of decades. The world isn't set up to support this anymore. And it's a very interesting question about why. But
very interesting question about why. T.I.
I think if you take one thing I've learned from OpenAI is if you sit down and say, like, our research goal is to create AGI.
Yeah.
That's very far off and very hard.
Yeah.
You work on anything you want that is going to help us get there.
Yeah.
It's people are like, oh, no one said that before. Like,
keeping it open. A lot of times your bosses will project onto you what they would like for them, right? So he wants to keep things open because why? He has NE, right? So he's going to project naturally onto other people and think, oh, maybe they wanted to be open, and that's also pragmatic, as well. Freedom.
That's hard to do.
And how do you manage the psychology of multiple teams working on things that are all pointing toward AGI, but in different directions? Like maybe it's robotics, maybe it's gaming, and then all of a sudden someone gets a result. Does that shift an entire team?
Yeah, I think it's real. Like, I think it's actually a very similar algorithm to what we were talking about for how to figure out what to do with your life.
Yeah.
Algorithm to figure out for your life using the systematic thing again.
Like, try lots of things. Let people follow their intuitions.
Try lots of things because I want to.
And then when something starts working, put a lot more resources behind it. Mm-hmm. That's worked for us really well.
Cool.
Yeah, I'm done here, man. I'm done. Sam Altman, you're a cool guy. We like you, but we're not going to draw this shit out. Okay? So, he's ENTP. Sam Altman's an ENTP. And if you are an ENTP, you really want to be taking notes on this guy. This should be one of the guys you are watching, because he's like revolutionizing the world here. We got initiating here for ENTPs, abstract. All this guy's talking about is possibilities here. Systematic, pragmatic. Okay, they like the freedom. Rebellious, contrarian, gonna push the envelope. Likes to have autonomous action. Okay, focus on. Pragmatic is really a focus on what works. Okay. While affiliative is a focus on doing what's right, okay, and people need to remember that. Like, if you see a lot of times from David Keirsey, please understand me too. He talks about looking at people's actions, right? So, do they focus on what works or do they focus on what's right? Okay, and you'll see that in pragmatic people because a lot of times you can pick it up in their speech, but not all the time. But yeah, he's informative. Okay, giving a lot of extra information. That's what he does here. That's his style. Okay, he's all about the progression, the journey, the trial and error, just trying things and hoping it like synergizes together later on. He's not setting clear, concise goals that he wants to accomplish here. He's just going and hoping it works. Okay, he's SINE. Big on possibilities. Big possibilities. And he's TIFE, guys. Okay. So we got him as an ENTP. I'm gonna go normalizing. Okay. And that is normalizing, boy. Y'all sleep on that normalizing. Okay. And why I say that is because he's got more of the chart to course with him. Okay, he's combining that little chart to course, being a little bit more focused. He can kind of focus when he wants to and when he's not. He's not kind of like, even though he's an ENTP, he's a little bit more filed in. Okay, so he's got that little normalizing to him. And we're gonna hit him with Enneagram 7. Okay, I'm gonna go 7W6 here. I'm gonna go social. And then I'm gonna back that up with sexual. And I'm gonna give him prodigy, man. He's a prodigy, ENTP here. Okay, that's my rating, prodigy level. We'll be doing a little bit more of that in the future. Christian's getting married. After he comes back, we'll be working on our prodigy demigod and getting that rolled out a little bit better. Like we always say in our group, it's about self-development. Okay, if you come into our Discord, it's about getting better. We want to see people getting better outcomes. We want to see people increasing their health. We want to see people getting achievements, getting, making more money. All of those things. That's the real focus of our group. We do love typology, but at the same time, we want you to be better tomorrow than you were today. Whether that be with food, finances, exercise, just overall, like making sure you're doing the right things in life to be a better person, and so that you could say we did something for you. This ain't just a hangout to just like talk about like, oh my God, I suck with SE or I suck with FI. It's like, yo, get the fuck over it. What are we doing to get better? That's what we do over here. And if that sounds like you, then you need to join our Mongolian Mindset fucking Discord. This is Mongolian Mindset, and I'm out.